and you're still under contract with them. Are you saying right here on this show that you want to be traded?
Yeah, I would like to be traded. Yeah.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's not a situation where what if you know? I know before you reportedly said that you would like them to get Jerry West back. Are you saying now emphatically, regardless of what they've done, you want out of Los Angeles?
Yeah, I would like to be traded. And as tough as it is to say that, as tough as it is to come to that conclusion, you know, there's no other alternative.
In 2016, Kobe Bryant retired from the game of basketball, a 5-time champion, 2-time Finals MVP, 18-time All-Star, and 1-time MVP. He gained all those accolades in the same team's jersey, something very few players can say. At one point, Kobe really was tired of being a Laker. 3 years removed from the Shaq trade, the Lakers had made no moves to build around Kobe. So after losing to the Suns in the playoffs, Kobe was done. Done having a starting lineup that included Smush Parker and Kwame Brown. Done being the only player with even a lick of talent on his team, and just done losing. All of these factors led to Kobe going on many radio shows and TV shows saying he wanted to be traded. Now, Kobe wasn't going to get traded just anywhere. He had a no-trade clause, and he could veto any trade he didn't like. First of all, the Lakers tried to trade Kobe for LeBron, which prompted the Cavs management to hang up the phone as soon as LeBron and trade was spoken in the same sentence. The Lakers also worked out a deal with the Pistons, one that would include Rodney Stuckey, who seemed like he could potentially be a star at the time, as well as Rip Hamilton and Tayshaun Prince, and a handful of first-rounders. The idea was Kobe's superstar play, along with Chauncey Billups and Rasheed Wallace, could make a championship run. But Kobe was afraid he would get stranded like he did in LA when Billups and Rasheed got older. So he eventually declined. This prompted the Lakers to begin negotiating with Kobe's first option, the Chicago Bulls, where Kobe hoped to play in the shadow of Jordan in the same city he did. Now in this deal, the Bulls would trade Tyrese Thomas, Ben Gordon, Luol Deng, and a rookie Joakim Noah. Now this may not seem like much back for the Lakers, but actually, Ben Gordon came off of the season averaging 21.4 points, shooting 41% from 3 at just 23 years old. Joakim Noah as a rookie was already showing off defensive potential. And Luol Deng just came off of a season averaging 18.8 points at just 21 years old. Not a bad trade to go into a rebuild with, even if it's trading arguably the best player in the NBA. But Kobe declined this trade because, as you can see, the Bulls were basically giving all of their talent away, and if Kobe was traded to Chicago, he would be in the same exact situation. The main player in the trade that made Kobe say no was Luol Deng. He could live with Gordon and Noah being gone, as the Bulls had Ben Wallace, and Gordon was a shooting guard, so he would have just been benched in favor of Kobe. Kobe wanted to play with Deng, and the Lakers would not trade him without getting Deng. So trade talks died down. Then later in the season, the Lakers traded for star big man Pau Gasol, and then in a few seasons, the Lakers won 2 more championships with Kobe, so not trading him turned out to be the right idea. But what if the Lakers were desperate enough to trade Kobe without including Deng? What if Kobe was traded back in 2007? How would the league change? Well, after Kobe was traded at the deadline, Pau Gasol still had to go somewhere. The Lakers were not interested in Pau without Kobe. Pau was a clear win now second option, and that's not ideal for a rebuilding team. The 3 teams Gasol was rumored to go to were first, obviously, the Lakers, and then there was the Knicks and the Spurs. And at the deadline, Gasol was traded to the Knicks for Jamal Crawford and Nate Robinson. This also means that Marc Gasol, who was included in the original Pau trade, stays in LA. Now in the playoffs, the Lakers, who originally had the first seed, drop all the way to 7 without Kobe and Pau. Remember, Kobe was there for long enough to give them enough wins for them to barely make the playoffs. So the New Orleans Hornets actually get the first seed in the West, but the Spurs were the team to make it out of the West, but like the Lakers, they fell to the Boston Celtics in the finals. On to the 2008 NBA Draft. The Chicago Bulls won a lot more games with Kobe as was expected, and they made the playoffs, so they're not in the lottery, so they sure as hell ain't getting Derrick Rose. So in the new lottery, the Miami Heat get the first overall pick, which means...
With the first pick in the 2008 NBA Draft, the Miami Heat select Derrick Rose from the University of Memphis.
The Wolves and Sonics take two of the bigger busts in recent history, and the Memphis Grizzlies get the fourth pick, which means...
With the fourth pick in the 2008 NBA Draft, the Memphis Grizzlies select Russell Westbrook from UCLA.
Kevin Love actually goes to the Los Angeles Clippers and the New York Knicks, who drop to the 10th pick with the help of Pau Gasol, end up drafting Brook Lopez to break the record for the slowest front court of all time. And the Chicago Bulls actually take Roy Hibbert with the 17th pick, because without Noah and an aging Ben Wallace as their starting center, the Bulls need a center for the future. In the 2008-2009 season, the Chicago Bulls get the third seed in the East behind Cleveland and Boston, and Kobe's scoring along with Luol Deng's two-way play draws comparisons to the Michael Jordan-Scottie Pippen duo. And out west, the Lakers get the 10th seed, but the future isn't too bleak with Joakim Noah and Marc Gasol forming a great defensive backcourt. And speaking of the Lakers backcourt, they are a little overstocked there with Andrew Bynum, Joakim Noah, and Gasol. Now, Gasol can play power forward and Noah has a higher ceiling, so the Lakers trade Andrew Bynum to the Toronto Raptors for their first-round pick, and the Raptors hope to use this to convince Chris Bosh to re-sign. In the playoffs, the Bulls beat the Celtics in the second round to face the Cavs in the conference finals, and in a 7-game series and an epic duel between LeBron James and Kobe Bryant, the Bulls narrowly win in Game 7 to face the Denver Nuggets. Yes, the Denver Nuggets, who originally fell to the Lakers in the conference finals, but this time they beat the Trailblazers in the conference finals to meet the Bulls. And with the help of Luol Deng stepping up, Kobe leads the Bulls to a championship win over the Denver Nuggets, winning Finals MVP, and finally getting people off of his back about being carried by Shaq. On to the 2009 draft. Kevin Love on the Clippers gave them a few extra wins, so they actually get the third pick with the Memphis Grizzlies getting the first overall pick, which means...
With the first pick in the 2009 NBA Draft, the Memphis Grizzlies select Blake Griffin.
Meaning that Blake Griffin and Russell Westbrook pair in Memphis, making perhaps the most athletic duo of all time. And the Clippers get the third pick, well, you know what I'm getting at.
With the third pick in the 2009 NBA Draft, the Los Angeles Clippers select James Harden of Arizona State University.
Meaning Harden and Kevin Love pair, making a much less athletic duo. And the Lakers, who finished at the 10th seed, get the 7th pick in the draft, which means...
With the 7th pick in the 2009 NBA Draft, the Los Angeles Lakers select Stephen Curry from Davidson College.
And that's not all. Fearing that Ben Gordon would leave in free agency, the Lakers need a shooting guard. And remember, the Lakers got the Raptors pick in the Andrew Bynum trade, and that pick ended up being number 9. And that means...
With the 9th pick in the 2009 NBA Draft, the Los Angeles Lakers select DeMar DeRozan from the University of Southern California.
Yep, the Lakers might have traded Kobe, but it seems to be working out for them. And the Bulls still do take Taj Gibson at the 26th spot, a massive steal. And in free agency, after re-signing Kobe, the Bulls had much less cap space. So Carlos Boozer actually signs with the Miami Heat because they were looking for some more scoring to get Dwayne Wade some help. Also in free agency, with less money to work with, the Bulls end up signing Rasheed Wallace to start at the 4. In the 2009-2010 season, the Chicago Bulls, with a lineup of Kirk Heinrich, a efficient 3-and-D player, and Kobe Bryant, a top candidate for MVP that season, Luol Deng, who had stepped away from being a potential star but was still a very efficient player, Rasheed Wallace, the veteran and post threat, and Roy Hibbert, who was breaking out as a defender and rebounder. They get the first seed in the East with 63 wins, the Cavs follow close behind with the second seed, and the Celtics fall down to the 5th seed. And out west, the Lakers don't really improve as DeRozan and Curry both had subpar rookie seasons, and they didn't mesh as well as you would hope. And Kobe Bryant wins MVP after a season averaging close to 30 points per game. In the playoffs in the second round, the Cavs beat the Magic and the Bulls beat the Celtics to once again meet in the playoffs. But this series wasn't nearly as epic as the last one, as LeBron seemingly gave up on the Cavs and the Bulls won in 5. In the finals, the Bulls faced the Phoenix Suns as it seems Kobe cannot stop facing them in the playoffs, even when he switches conferences. And as much as Steve Nash tried, the Suns team ball couldn't match Kobe's non-stop isolation offense. And in 6 games, the Bulls win. And Kobe again wins Finals MVP. In the NBA draft, like I said, the Lakers only improved a little, so they get the 10th pick in the draft, meaning...
With the 10th pick in the 2010 NBA draft, the Los Angeles Lakers select Paul George of Fresno State University.
Which means the Lakers now have a lineup of Stephen Curry, DeMar DeRozan, Paul George, Marc Gasol, and Joakim Noah. Wow. In free agency, as we know, LeBron in this offseason made the decision to join the Miami Heat. And he still does. But Chris Bosh can't join the Heat because, as you may remember, the Heat gave Carlos Boozer a big contract in the last offseason, so they don't have the cap space to sign Bosh. But the Bulls, with the few expiring contracts, as well as trading away Ben Wallace's horrid contract, have just enough money to sign Bosh, giving the Bulls even more firepower. Also in the offseason, Amari Stoudemire still signs with the Knicks. Now this is a bit of a problem with Pau and Brook Lopez in New York already, so the Knicks have to trade Brook Lopez. Now at this point for the Bulls, Roy Hibbert had shown defensive potential, but with the Heat signing LeBron James, the Bulls trying to stay on top, trade Taj Gibson, Kyle Korver, CJ Watson, and 2 first-rounders for Brook Lopez and Landry Fields. A fair trade where the Knicks get role players to go into win-now mode, and the Bulls get a potential star. Onto the 2010-2011 season, the Miami Heat with Derrick Rose, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, and Carlos Boozer have the best record in the NBA with 66 wins, with the Chicago Bulls falling to the 2nd seed. Now, the 2011 season was all about Carmelo Anthony trade rumors, despite making the finals in 2009, and he still ends up in New York, and with Amari, Gasol, and a few role players from the Bulls trade, they are much more competitive, getting the 4th seed rather than the 6th. And onto the playoffs, the Heat destroy the Sixers in the first round, and because the Heat were up so much in all of the games, Derrick Rose never tears his ACL, but he does suffer plenty of minor injuries which still affect him later in his career, but the drop-off was not nearly the same. In the second round, the Heat beat the Knicks in 5 games, and they faced the Bulls in the Eastern Conference Finals, and LeBron by himself only narrowly lost to the Bulls in the past 2 conference finals. So with Derrick Rose and Dwayne Wade, the Heat beat the Bulls in 6 to face the Dallas Mavericks, and with the help of Derrick Rose, who was a much larger contributor to the Heat than Chris Bosh, the Heat win in 6, giving LeBron his elusive championship. In the 2011 draft, the Cavaliers still get Kyrie Irving with the 1st overall pick, and the Lakers, who faced chemistry problems with DeMar DeRozan, Stephen Curry, and Paul George all being primary ball handlers, decide to trade DeMar DeRozan because PG and Curry can play off-ball. And the Warriors, who were looking for a star without Curry, trade their 10th overall pick for DeMar. And with the 10th pick...
With the 10th pick in the 2011 NBA draft, the Los Angeles Lakers select Klay Thompson from Washington State University.
And the Memphis Grizzlies, who barely missed the playoffs, in need of defense and a team player with the 14th pick.
With the 14th pick in the 2011 NBA draft, the Memphis Grizzlies select Kawhi Leonard from San Diego State University.
And the Knicks, with the 29th pick, take Jimmy Butler, as remember, the Knicks got this pick for Brook Lopez. In the offseason, the free agent market has slim pickings, but in 2 small signings, the Bulls take Mario Chalmers and Rip Hamilton for some solid guard play off of the bench. In the 2011-2012 season, this season was dominated by Chris Paul trade rumors. And just like in real life, the prospect of CP3 playing with Kobe was very hyped. And in a 3-team trade, the Bulls send Chris Bosh to the Rockets, the Hornets get Roy Hibbert, Kirk Heinrich, Louis Scola, and Kevin Martin, and the Bulls get Chris Paul, Ryan Anderson, and Trevor Ariza. And with the contributions of Chris Paul and Kobe, along with a fantastic third season from Brook Lopez, the Bulls get the first seed with 68 wins, and the Heat with 62 wins get the second seed. And out west, the Lakers get the 7th seed with the contributions of Gasol and Noah down low, and the Splash Brothers doing what they do best, as well as Paul George becoming a star. And the Memphis Grizzlies behind a breakout season from Russell Westbrook, Blake Griffin starting his rookie season with a Rookie of the Year award, and Kawhi Leonard breaking out early with more minutes than he got in San Antonio. The Grizzlies catch the 6th seed, and they seem like they could be a future dynasty. Onto the 2012 playoffs. Even though the Heat are stacked as hell, both Dwayne Wade and Derrick Rose were dealing with injuries going into the playoffs, and with the dominance of CP3 and Kobe, the Bulls cruise through the Eastern Conference to face the San Antonio Spurs. And again, just like the Phoenix Finals matchup, Kobe goes full Mamba mode, and Chris Paul, who was thirsty for a championship, played his best basketball. And in 7 not-so-close games, the Bulls win the 2012 championship, giving Kobe his 6th ring, and the Jordan and Kobe debate becomes even closer, but less hostile among fans, considering both won rings for the Bulls. It's really a win-win for Bulls fans. In the 2012 NBA draft, you may have noticed that the Thunder have been terrible in the draft so far. Top picks, but no solid selections, and Kevin Durant is beginning to get frustrated in OKC. But KD was out a good bit this season, and in the lottery, they were supposed to get the 6th pick, but they luck out and get the 1st, and that means...
With the first pick in the 2012 NBA draft, the Oklahoma City Thunder select Anthony Davis.
There you go, OKC fans. Hopefully that makes up for taking Russ and Harden away. And the Nets, who were much worse without Brook Lopez, don't trade their pick, and it ended up being 3rd, and they take Bradley Beal. And this sets up the Kings with the 6th pick, meaning...
With the 6th pick in the 2012 NBA draft, the Sacramento Kings select Damian Lillard of Weber State University.
And in free agency, Deron Williams, who was never traded from the Jazz, signs with the Knicks to hopefully elevate them into contenders. And this means J.R. Smith signs with the Rockets to play with Chris Bosh. And Jason Kidd signs with the Bulls to make off of the bench and do a bit of ring chasing. And the Bulls trade Mario Chalmers away to the Knicks for Iman Shumpert. In the 2012-2013 season, like the last 2 seasons, this one is all about the trade rumors. This time it was about Dwight Howard. Dwight gets traded to the OKC Thunder, where in a 4-team trade, the Sixers get Serge Ibaka instead of Andrew Bynum, which ironically is actually a better deal for them. And because of this, Steve Nash gets traded to the Thunder for their 1st and 2nd round pick, and in free agency, the Bulls sign Ray Allen to be a shooter off of the bench. In the 2012-2013 season, it was essentially same old, same old. The Heat and Bulls were at the top of the league, with the Bulls narrowly getting the 1st seed because Kobe did not suffer his Achilles injury because he didn't have to carry as much as he did in real life. And the Grizzlies get the 2nd seed out west, with the Lakers getting the 1st seed, as both teams finally realize their potential. Onto the playoffs. In the West, the Grizzlies and Lakers cruise their way to the conference finals, and in a 7-game series, the Lakers move on to the finals to face the Miami Heat, who just beat the Bulls in 6 games, as the Bulls' star power couldn't match the Heat's star power. And in the finals, the Lakers, with a fantastic performance by Paul George, beat the Miami Heat by 4 in an epic Game 7, with Paul George winning MVP. In the 2013 draft, this draft class was garbage. The only notable changes are with the 15th pick, the Celtics take Giannis Antetokounmpo instead of the Bucks. And with the 25th pick, the Suns take Rudy Gobert with the pick that they got in the Steve Nash trade. In free agency, Dwight Howard signs with Houston to pair with Chris Bosh because he again had chemistry issues in OKC, and Chris Paul re-signs with the Bulls. But with plenty of cap space, the Bulls sign Andre Iguodala to be the glue guy to hopefully bring them over the Heat. And they also signed Darren Collison to play backup point because Jason Kidd retired, and with Iggy at small forward, Deng slid over to the small ball 4. In the 2012-14 season, with the contributions of Andre Iguodala, the Bulls have one of the best defenses in the league. And of course the offense is great with Kobe's ISOs, Brook Lopez's post-ups, and CP3 hitting middies off of screens and throwing passes. But Kobe was slowing down a bit at this point with his age, still an elite player, but it was clear that the Bulls would need more help if they were going to compete with the Heat in the East. Also this season, Kawhi Leonard broke out as an elite two-way player, and the Grizzlies killed it and got the first seed, and the Lakers got the second as Curry broke out as well, and everyone couldn't wait to see them clash in the playoffs. So let's just fast forward to that. In the Western Conference Finals, the Lakers fought hard, and of course it was a 7-game series, but this was the year of the Grizzlies, and again in the East, it was the Bulls and Heat, and in a 6-game battle, the Heat beat the Bulls, and the Bulls front office in this universe is actually competent apparently, so they have big plans for the offseason. In the finals, the Miami Heat again lose, and Kawhi, just like in real life, wins Finals MVP because he stepped up offensively and he really slowed down LeBron. In the 2014 NBA draft, nothing significant happens as the top 3 picks all end up getting drafted to the same team. In free agency, in this offseason, LeBron again makes the decision to return to Cleveland. But if you remember, Kevin Love is on the Clippers. That team has been pretty mediocre, but not nearly as bad as the Timberwolves were, so Love doesn't want to be traded, so the Cavs just keep Wiggins, having him play shooting guard. So for power forward, the Cavs signed Pau Gasol, who remember was on the Knicks. Pau chose to leave because after Amari went through his injuries, the Knicks have been stewing in mediocrity. So Pau leaves, and because of this, Melo leaves as well, to sign with the Bulls, giving the Bulls the firepower that they need to dominate the East. Because of this signing, they had to let Luol Deng go. He signs with the Clippers to play with Harden, DJ, and Love, and with a little extra money to play with after moving Darren Collison, the Bulls sign Isaiah Thomas to score off of the bench. I know this seems impossible, but back in 2014, Thomas was a 6-man caliber player who was only making about $6 million a year. So the Bulls walk into the 2014-15 season with Chris Paul at the 1, Kobe at the 2, Andre Iguodala at the 3, Carmelo Anthony at the 4, and Brook Lopez at the 5. And off of the bench, Isaiah Thomas as the 6-man, with Trevor Ariza and Ryan Anderson being solid role players. Non-stop offense, solid defense from Chris Paul and Andre Iguodala, and a fantastic system. This stacked team gets the first seed in the East, and to the playoffs. Similar to the playoffs in real life, the Cavaliers were not great going into the playoffs. They still made the finals, but the competition was pretty much non-existent, so they had an easy stroll in. That's not the case anymore. And they meet the Lakers in the finals, as the Grizzlies and Lakers just seem to be trading places every year. And this was a great matchup for the Bulls because CP3 can guard Curry, Kobe can handle Klay Thompson, Iggy can shut down Paul George, and Carmelo Anthony is too fast and crafty for Marc Gasol to keep up. And defensively, Gasol isn't too dominant of a post-up player, so the Bulls can live with that mismatch. And because the Bulls match up so well, they win in 5 games, and Chris Paul wins Finals MVP, and Melo wins his first ring. In the 2015 NBA draft, the New York Knicks without Melo have the worst record in the NBA, and they get the first pick, which means...
With the first pick in the 2015 NBA draft, the New York Knicks select Karl Anthony Towns.
The Timberwolves take D'Angelo Russell, and the Sixers take Jahlil Okafor. And because of the West being so damn stacked, the Kings go up 2 spots in the draft, even with Damian Lillard. So,
The fourth pick in the 2015 NBA Draft, the Sacramento Kings select Kristaps Porzingis.
Meaning the Kings have a big three of Damian Lillard, DeMarcus Cousins, and Kristaps Porzingis. And in free agency, the Bulls also decided to let Brook Lopez walk because of his injury struggles and his lack of defense, and as a replacement, they signed DeAndre Jordan because Chris Paul was on the Bulls, so he couldn't lock him in his house to stay with the Clippers. And LaMarcus Aldridge signs with the Thunder with Anthony Davis moving to center, giving them 3 star players, but in the stacked West, they're not going to be as successful as they should be. In the 2015-16 season, in Kobe's last year, the Bulls show massive improvement with the help of DeAndre Jordan, and they get the first seed with the Cavaliers trailing just behind, as the NBA had become very top-heavy with the Grizzlies and Lakers in the West, and the Bulls and Cavs in the East. So skipping to the conference finals, in a 7-game epic series, the Bulls win, because Kobe Bryant stepped up even with his age, getting 45 points in Game 7, and out west, it's actually OKC and Memphis in the conference finals because Paul George had his awful injury in the USA scrimmage game, and Joakim Noah was out for the playoffs as well. So OKC versus Memphis is the conference finals matchup, and well, actually, OKC wins. Durant was MVP this year. Anthony Davis was an up-and-coming superstar, and this was the last year of LaMarcus Aldridge being an all-star caliber player. So they actually beat Memphis in a surprising 7-game series, and in the finals, Iggy slowed down KD, DeAndre slowed down Davis, and well, Melo got killed by Aldridge, but the Thunder's below-average guards could not compete with Chris Paul and Kobe, and the Bulls win in 6 with Kobe winning Finals MVP, not because he was the best player for the Bulls, but because fans wanted to send Kobe off with the Finals MVP. And Kobe ends his career with that MVP, and he wins 5 championships with the Bulls, giving him 8 total championships, 3 more than he had in real life. And a lot of people call him the GOAT because he won 2 more rings than Jordan. The Lakers miss out on 1 championship without Kobe, but they are still pretty well set for the future. The Grizzlies are set as well with Kawhi Leonard and Russell Westbrook, and they win a championship as well. And unfortunately for LeBron James, he missed out on 2 championships, and his legacy is seriously at stake. Thanks for watching the video, guys. I've been working my ass off on this one, so if you could please be sure to like and subscribe for more what ifs and more NBA videos, I would really appreciate it. With that, I'm out, and cue the outro music.
I dare you play your cards, boy, you bet I'm a trendsetter too. Fire when the strobe hits you.
That's it, Brian?